Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Gotlegs. Today is Friday, so the weekend is just around the corner and I'm hoping to actually be able to get out ride on the bike. I have ordered a new front brake, so it should be arriving soon and hopefully it'll arrive today, but I'm not really thinking that it will because I've probably known by now since it's Friday. Anyways, if not, I'm going to give the turbo trainer a go. Yesterday I actually did a session on the turbo trainer, went pretty good. I did 15 minutes warm up, then 25 minutes of zone 2 and 3, 5-minute rest, and then I did 3 intervals of 1 minute just going above threshold. And then rounding it off for 10 minutes and then getting off the bike again. So that was about an hour and it went pretty good. It felt good. But the thing I wanted to talk about today is the headlines that have been as of late. If you follow anything of cycling, you'll know that Phil Gaiman has a new book out called Draft Animals. And apparently, according to the media, he's accusing Cancellara of motor doping. And I haven't read the book, but I just wanted to comment on it anyways, because Phil Gaiman seems to be a pretty clever guy, seems to be a good guy in all of this, and I highly doubt that he'll actually accuse Cancellara of doing these things. As far as I've read so far, it actually seems that Phil Gaiman basically just says that the rumor is that Cancellara in the Peloton actually used an engine in that bike in 2008 and 2010. But I'm guessing that the broader objective is actually to look into the fact that motor doping isn't the biggest concern that cycling should have at the moment, but more or less regular doping as we know it. I read a statement from Phil Gaiman yesterday, I think it was, where he basically said that he wasn't throwing accusations towards Cancellara. He didn't have any proof. He didn't know the guy at the time and all that. He wasn't there at the time. So he's basically just telling the story of what other people have said. When I first heard the story back in 2010 about the whole motor in the bike thing, I basically thought that it sounded like science fiction. It didn't sound real. It sounded like something that would never happen in professional sports, in cycling at least. But given the latest revelations with the Belgian, I think she was, cross rider that got caught last year, I think it was. I wouldn't be surprised to find that there has been motor doping usage in the past. When you look at the clips of Cancellara back in 2010 when he's riding the Tour of Flanders, it doesn't look like, it looks like he has an engine on the bike, no doubt about it. It looks like he can accelerate from Tom Bonin, and Tom Bonin can't keep up. The thing is that it also looks like Tom Bonin is stuck in a bad gear, that he can't turn the pedals over fast enough. He's putting down the power, but he's in a way too heavy gear, whereas Cancellara is sitting on a much easier gear. So basically that could just be the case. It could just be the case of Cancellara having that extra power at the time and being able to spin an easier gear, whereas Tom Bonin may have had the power to actually go along with Cancellara, but has to use that much force to actually just turn over the gears, and that's where the gap opens. In Paris-Roubaix, Cancellara basically attacks from the group that he's in, but it's like a sitting acceleration. He doesn't really accelerate, he just comes out with much more force at a time where the rest of the group is basically looking at each other. Anyone who has raced bikes, anyone who has been in cycling races will know that there is a time where you can actually get away from the pack without using that much force, where all the others are basically looking at each other, they're tired, and as soon as one guy attacks, they all look at each other and says, okay, all right, who's gonna chase this guy? And if they don't come to an agreement pretty fast, the guy will have a lead. And looking at that footage from 2010, it basically looks like that. It looks like Cancellara times his attacks at the exact right time, where everyone is actually looking away, taking a drink, anything like that. And that's the reason why he opened up a gap like that. The acceleration isn't too dramatic, I think. I think it looks pretty decent. I can make a similar acceleration on my own bike, and that doesn't have an engine in it. The thing is, I've seen cases where it seemed much more obvious that there could have been an engine involved. There was that rider Hesjedal in the Vuelta, where he crashes his bike and then the bike just starts spinning. I think it was covered that it could happen, but that just seemed weird. As well as there was another cross rider not long ago where they were riding in mud, and then his wheel accelerated beyond what he was pedaling. So that seemed quite odd as well. But I think they had it down to a stick or a branch or anything like that that got caught in something. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if there have been motors in cycling. I'm hoping that not to be the case, because I like to believe the best things of the guys that I'm a fan of, but I wouldn't be surprised anymore. Given the stories that have been out, given the 60 minutes episodes of what have happened in the cycling within the last couple of years, I wouldn't be surprised. With that being said, I don't think that the governing body, the UCI, should focus that much on motor doping. Of course, they should check the bikes regularly to make sure that it doesn't happen and that no cheating is involved, but it seems like their focus has shifted from that or to that, instead of all the other issues we have in cycling. You know, what about all the motorcycles that are covering the sport? I read an article with Brian Holm from Quickstep team that basically said that they actually make their riding plan, their tactics, their strategy, according to how many motorcycles that are going to be in the event. Because if there's a lot of motorcycles in the event, they know they have to get the chase going earlier. So that's a real issue. Do something about it, UCI. And also you have, like, if you watched the Tour de France this year, you saw Peter Sagan being thrown out of the race for something that looked like a racing incident. It didn't look like he was actually trying to pull down Mark Cavendish. It just looked like a regular sprint that went wrong. He got thrown out of the race, but then a couple of days later, a lot of other riders did similar things. They threw punches, they didn't hold their line and all that, but they didn't get anything similar in punishment. So there are so many things and so many places that they actually could focus, and they basically tend to focus on motors. I also read something about the new UCI president that wanted to have 6 riders on each team in Grand Tours. Doesn't make sense. Is that really where we want to be? 6 riders on the Grand Tour? So basically that's all I pretty much have to say about that issue. So hopefully we'll be able to get riding soon once again, not focus on motor doping and all that other stuff. Make sure that we have fun with cross riding instead, mountain biking, and then get ready for the upcoming season. So thanks for watching once again. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, watch the other videos, and until next time, bye.